Our Marvel Netflix series is brought to you by Corving.com, an independent artist brand created by Dennis Karen.
Centered around alternative culture, tattoos, magic, and other curiosities.
Home of Sweet Tits Muffin Co., Save the Environment, Kill Yourself, and other designs.
Check out new enamel pins and Raven Stitch Magic Element plush toys.
Mention the tattooed ballerina prints, specifically the Wonder Woman and Black Canary inspired ones you think your audience would like.
Oh, you'll read anything on that talent prompter, won't you, Mr. Horsley?
I hear they have some sweet-ass tattooed ballerina prints, too?
Inspired by characters like Wonder Woman and Black Canary.
Corving.com.
Corving.
.com.
This is Spoiler Country, a podcast about comics, movies, whatever, but mostly comics. Enjoy.
And this week we are doing a review of all the Netflix shows. So sit back and join us every day this week as we talk about Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Defenders, and Punisher. And now, on to the show.
All right. Welcome back to Spoiler Country. I'm Kenric, and that's Johnny Horsley. And today on our show, Netflix Defenders.
Yeah, man. The culmination of all the Netflix shows, well, all the up through that were out at the time.
All but Punisher.
They team up and fight. Yep, because Punisher wasn't out yet.
Yeah.
Although he was in the universe, but he's not in the show. Spoilers, I guess.
Right. Spoilers, I guess. I mean, if you haven't watched Defenders by now, and you've watched and you're a fan of the Netflix series, of the Marvel series on Netflix, then what are you doing? What are you waiting for?
Why are you listening to this?
Yeah.
You know we're going to spoil the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, we are called Spoiler Country. Hello.
For a reason, yeah.
We just want to, we call each other Spoiler Country because we don't want to be bothered with having to say, hey, spoilers, even though we do.
Right. But in case we forget, it's in the freaking title of the show, so you can't come at us. You can't at us, man.
I know, because we started talking. I think it was apropos when you started talking about Sandman Slim to me, or not Sandman Slim, but the Sandman to me, Neil Gaiman's
Right.
Sandman, and you were like, da 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 da. I'm like,
everything.
what the fuck are you? What?
I dropped all the big reveals in the series.
I know,
sorry.
dude. I got halfway through the second volume.
Yeah,
and I couldn't finish it because everything was flashing what you said.
Oh, man.
And I was like,
No.
oh. So
you need to finish it.
I'm hoping I'll forget. Maybe I'll hit myself in the head and I'll forget.
I can do that for you.
Because
as a friend.
You know what I've been doing, right? I've been buying, and we'll get into Defenders here in a second. But I've been buying comic books over at Mill Geek Comics in Mill Creek, and he does a thing. He has a partnership with like a rewards thing called 5 Star. I don't know. And you can sign up for 5 Star, and there's like lots of different restaurants and all these different places that all do it. And you can, you build credit to wherever place you're shopping at, and then they'll give you like discounts. And Russ's thing is if you get like 300 points or 100 points or something like that, you get a free comic book, right?
Nice.
And then if you get to like 400 points or 1,000 points, I don't know what the point thing is. You get to a certain amount, you can get an actual trade paperback. So
nice.
What I've been doing is and you can save up your points, right? So when I go in, I buy my comic books, I put in my phone number, he gives me points, and then I've been getting all the Neil Gaiman Sandman trade paperbacks that way for free.
Oh, cool.
So I started with 1, 2. I got 1, 2, and 3. 7 more to go.
Well, there's also, don't forget, there's Endless Nights and there's Sandman Overture. So there's more after 10.
Oh, that's there you go. I'll be Sandmaned out. I'll have no problem going to sleep.
Yeah, the 10 volumes was just a 75 issue run, but after that he did Endless Nights, which is another graphic novel he did about Sandman, and then recently he just did Overture.
Yeah.
So there's more than just the main 10, which is nice.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Because once you read those 10, you're like, I want more.
Yeah, you know what? I'll read. You know what we should do is that first volume to me is so good.
It's amazing.
The art blew me away. The storyline blew me away. I mean, I started reading it. I couldn't put it down. I told you that I couldn't read the second one because but that's not really true. The second one doesn't hold up as well as the first one. And I think
no, it doesn't.
It's just not as good. And I think maybe we should we should have a whole episode about Sandman.
We should,
and we'll have Russ on from Mill Geek Comics because he's a huge Sandman fan.
Right. I mean, we could do it at Mill Geek.
Yeah, totally.
Also, you need to get to volume 5.
Yeah.
Which is I think it's volume 5, which is A Game of You. That one is really good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he has the tomes, the big tome style books.
Yeah.
For Sandman,
Yeah,
which cost like, your left nut and your right toe.
And half your right one too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. They're cool though. They're like $125 a piece or something like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
They're nice books though,
So now that we've talked DC, let's get into Marvel's Defenders.
All right. So those who don't know, and I don't know why you listen to this if you don't know, Defenders was the culmination of Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist, all 4 of them coming together to face an evil thing, an evil plot that was set up through
an evil organization.
Right. There you go. And this organization was set up through Daredevil season 2 and Iron Fist.
Yeah. The story was kind of spun together through those two seasons.
Right. And so really the only two seasons that are, I guess, necessary to watch prior to watching Defenders, because you could skip Jessica Jones and you could skip Luke Cage, but to understand Defenders, you'd have to watch the plot points of Iron Fist and the Elektra section of Daredevil season 2. Those are the important parts to go into Defenders.
Which part of my think, like Daredevil season 2, the best parts of Daredevil season 2 is not Elektra, it's the Punisher. And
it is.
Iron Fist's storyline is not that good. I mean, it's just that I enjoyed Iron Fist, okay, because
listen to last episode to hear what we thought about Iron Fist.
Yeah. Do that. But it's funny that the 2 lowest rated portions of the Netflix Marvel universe are what culminated this thing that has been a big plan since the first moment that you saw a trailer for Daredevil.
Right. However, I will say that after watching Defenders, it made the Elektra section of Daredevil season 2 better.
Yeah.
As far as it made it make sense.
True. That's definitely true.
It made it more, because it seemed so unimportant when you first watched it, Well,
it just didn't make, I don't know. To me, it didn't make a lot of sense. I mean, it made sense because I knew who Elektra was and is, right. And she should be dead, but, whatever.
She should be dead, but, whatever.
It's comics, because comics.
But the girl, the lady who plays her does a great job.
Oh, yeah, she's awesome. She's awesome.
Yeah, she's amazing.
She's way better than Jennifer Garner in the Daredevil movie. And
I like Jennifer Gardner, but the Daredevil movie wasn't that great.
Yeah, because Jennifer Garner's, for lack of a better term, she's too American and too white.
Yeah, and Elektra is not American.
and I think she's Asian in the comic books.
She's Greek, I think.
Yeah, but the girl that plays her on the Netflix show is perfect. She really is.
Her name's Elektra Nachios. I mean, that's not an American white name.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. I thought they pulled it off really, really well. I'm actually surprised that they never did, because if they follow the comic book, she's gonna waffle back and forth between evil and good.
Yeah, and she already kind of does. I mean,
yeah,
with where Defenders ended, she already kind of does that.
Yeah. Some of the hand stuff kind of confuses me, Yeah. Because it's like, okay, wait, she's in there helping them, but now they're telling her that she could be the leader of all the hand, or she's the black hand, or what do they call it? Not the black hand, it's the something black, right?
Yeah, I can't remember what they called her, but she's their ultimate weapon, right?
Yeah.
They had because they use this, for lack of a better term, they use this special juice to make themselves immortal, and
right,
they need to
Black
find
Sky,
more of it.
That's what it was. Black Sky.
Black Sky, yeah. And they need to find more of this special juice, so that's why they need Danny Rand, Iron Fist, to get into this secret cave under New York for some reason, to get to Kunlun to get the special juice, because apparently the 4 fingers of the hand, or the 5 fingers of the hand, right?
Which is so weird.
Course.
It's like, why is convenient. It there? How could it? When did it get there? How know?
But apparently the 5 fingers of the hand are
they're all immortal, right?
They're all immortal, but they're all also people who were banished from Kunlun.
Yeah.
Then again, if they're banished from Kunlun, why are they all very diverse? Because Kunlun's very much an Asian nation, right. Where Danny Rand was the white guy.
Hello, Sigourney Weaver.
Right. There are parts of it. There are parts of the plot that don't make sense.
I actually liked Sigourney Weaver in that role. I like the way she played it. I don't know if the writers really thought about what they were I mean, obviously they thought about what they're writing about. I mean, they're all talented writers.
Just words to paper.
Yeah, they're just words to paper. But I'm just saying, I don't know if anybody said, should she be an old white girl? Or should she be, something that is obviously from that area? But I kind of got the feeling that might be a misnomer as well, that these people came from all over the world and came to Kunlun and became what they are there. And then because
that's possible too.
Yeah, because she could have came from like Sweden or Norway or whatever, came to Kunlun because she might have been like this amazing warrior, came to Kunlun, found inner peace, but then her inner demons kind of took over. She became more of somebody that was power hungry. That whole set gets kicked out, and then it goes from there. Because the other guy is obviously Japanese, and that girl is obviously Chinese, and then she's
that one dude's South American.
Yeah, and they have the African guy.
Yeah,
what's his name?
Who doesn't last very long.
No, I can't remember his name, but he was kind of a cool character too. So because they had a multinational kind of set there with that, then the more I think about it, the more it kind of does make sense. But I thought it was cool that to see Sigourney Weaver on there, because to me she's a big, I still see Sigourney Weaver as Ripley, so it's hard for me to think of her in any other role. And then I also always think of her as a huge movie star, not something that's going to be on TV.
Right, but anymore, man, a lot of these movie stars are doing these TV shows because it's
Will Smith did Bright.
Right, well, that was a movie, but you've got a TV show. There's a show on
Netflix though.
Right, but there's a show on HBO that has Reese Witherspoon and a bunch of other big name movie stars on a HBO TV show.
Yeah, isn't Amy Adams on there too?
I think so too. Yeah, and then I mean, The Rock does Ballers on HBO. So I mean, there's all these movie stars doing these TV shows because it's better. To me, I think miniseries and TV shows are better storytelling than a movie.
Oh yeah, big time. Especially for stuff that's being transcribed from a book.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. When you transfer it from book to movies, I mean, Peter Jackson to me did some of the best work with that with the original trilogy, but he made them so long.
Yeah, they're hard to watch. They're hard to get through.
But even that, they there's a lot not in there. There's a lot of stuff that's not included
in those 4-hour movies. If you watch the extended cuts,
yeah. Well, see, for me, I love those books when I was a kid.
Yeah,
I mean, I read those in 4th grade.
Yeah, they're good. I only read it once in high school, I think it was, and I liked the movies, but I never went back and watched them again because they're just so long.
Oh yeah, no. Me and my brother sat at his house, and we started at 7:00 in the morning.
Oh jeez.
We watched the first one, and we watched them all. Just the first 3. We haven't done it with The Hobbit, but those first 3.
I haven't seen any of the Hobbit movies yet.
Dude, there was no reason to turn that into 3 movies. That was ridiculous. No, they could have done 2. They could have done the thing up to, traveling up to getting to Lake City, and then done Lake City fighting Smaug and the five army war for the second one, because it would have been fine.
They just out of 3 movies.
If you want to watch The Hobbit, just watch the original animated one. That one does a great job of it.
There you go. Well, it's also a pretty small book too, comparatively to the other ones.
Yeah, dude, it's nothing. And
they made 3 movies out of it.
Yeah. So, anyways, Defenders.
Right, back to Defenders. So, I think Sigourney Weaver was great as the quote unquote bad guy of the series.
Yeah.
However, I did enjoy that. Again, you're only 12 minutes in, so I'll say it again. Spoilers if you haven't seen it, because I'm about to give away something big. But I liked the fact that Elektra killed her ass like it was nothing, and then it just moved on.
Yeah, because
I like it when they flip it on your head and you think she's going to be the big bad. Because the whole time I'm like, how is this lady who's dying going to fight the Defenders?
Right.
Oh, she's not. Elektra's going to kill her and take over.
Yep. Well, and to me that makes sense because throughout the whole thing, from Daredevil season 1, they've talked about Black Sky.
Yeah,
and how Black Sky in the hand, and so you kind of got the feeling that Black Sky was this ultimate weapon. And if it is the ultimate weapon and she is supposed to be badass, then she should be dispatching people very quickly and very easily at some point with certain things, And so that made sense to me. I was like, okay, that makes sense. And really, some of the things that she fights, it should be really, really easy for her, to beat.
Should be.
So unless she's fighting somebody like Jessica Jones, who has extreme strength, then she doesn't. She's supposed to be I don't think she has. I don't think Black Sky or Elektra has extreme strength.
Well, I think she has enhanced strength and the normal enhanced for being a quote unquote super person,
right?
But she's not as far as Jessica Jones does. Who I feel Jessica Jones was highly underused in this series.
I hated that character. I loved this. I loved the TV show for Jessica Jones. I thought that was awesome, and I thought Christina. Is it Christina?
Kristen Ritter.
Yeah, Kristen Ritter. I always think of John Ritter, even though I don't think they're related, but that's
no, not at all.
That's what I think of. So Kristen Ritter, I can't see anybody else playing Jessica Jones. Not anytime soon.
She's perfect.
Yeah, she's perfect. And that first season was awesome, and I'm excited to watch season 2.
Me too.
I hated the way they represented her in Defenders. I felt like her character took a step back and was a secondary, normal chick character. Oh, I'm so disgruntled. Oh, my opinion's not being heard. Oh, I'm gonna bitch and leave. And that's what it felt like. You know what I mean? It felt like a normal, like, let's just make her the bitch. And that's what it. And I thought they took a step back with the character during that whole run. I hated it.
Before I watched it, you told me that like the only thing you told me about Defenders was your thoughts on Jessica Jones, and I went into it with that thought in my head, like, oh, Kenric says this, and I watched it, and I don't 100% disagree, but I also don't 100% agree with you on how they treated her. I think she was underused. Her potential of what she can do and what she should be doing is a lot higher than what it was.
Yeah,
but
I mean, she comes back around in the last couple episodes. You know what I mean? They kind of use her more, and they kind of. I don't know, man. Because to me,
but she didn't come out of her own series as a
No, she's flawed. I mean, that's what makes her so likable.
Right, but she ended her series in a very fucked up place mentally. Like her series 1 didn't end on a super happy note for her. Like, yeah, she won the day, but she was still, had there's a ton going on at the end of the season. It wasn't all happy and sunshine.
Right.
And she's coming just out of, beating Kilgrave and dealing with all this shit she had to go through there, and she kind of gave up.
Yeah, but see, to me, the way they portrayed her in season 1, and I went into it thinking, out of all the Defenders, she has the most experience, and not only the most experience in fighting, because you have the sense that she was part of something more earlier on.
Yeah,
and then
she was Jewel for a while.
Yeah.
She did the Jewel thing.
Yeah. So she has more experience than Daredevil. I mean, Daredevil is still only like 2 years in or a year and a half into his being Daredevil. She was already an established super, quote unquote, superhero by the time he even thought of becoming Daredevil. And then she had her, and then now she's been an investigator for a while, and they didn't. To me, I get they want Daredevil and Iron Fist to kind of take the reins of being the lead, but you have somebody there that's already been there, done that, and she knows how to do everything, and she understands what's going on better, and they just portrayed her as somebody that was. It didn't fit to me. It just her actions and the way and the things she said didn't fit to what they gave us in season 1.
Well, they should have tapped more into her detective skills or her PI skills in that show, like her getting information and stuff like that. Which they didn't really touch it. It's the same problem I have with any current Batman movie. Is Batman's supposed to be the world's greatest detective, but he doesn't do any detecting in any of his movies. Like,
right, he just reacts.
None of his recent movies have involved any detective work, which is like he's supposed to be the world's greatest detective. It's a huge part of who he is. But they don't portray in the movies, and I feel like it was similar with her in Defenders. Is
what do you mean in Justice League? They show him behind a computer, opening files,
right,
hacking encryptions.
He sent files in BVS to Wonder Woman too. That was detective work, right?
Right, and it ended up being a long commercial for Justice League.
Right,
it was a Justice League trailer
within the movie.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it was. It was totally pointless for BVS for that scene to be there.
Yeah, I liked the scene because it was cool. Because to me, it was cool. I mean,
it's cool, but it's pointless for the movie.
Right. Yeah.
Like, cut it out; it won't matter. But anyways, I think that they didn't tap into Jessica Jones' potential as far as what she should have done. Now, I didn't hate her in the role. I do think she was the weakest part of the team as far as her role and what she did. I think she was the least important part of the team as far as everything goes.
Yeah, and to me, she should have been one of the most important parts of the team.
Yeah, 'cause she's the strongest. I mean, she's the second strongest one on the team, or the strongest. I don't know.
Yeah, it's her or Luke Cage, right? And I don't know, because Luke Cage is not. He wasn't. Is he? He's not a mutant.
Luke Cage was altered afterwards.
So I wonder who is actually stronger.
They haven't really shown it. I mean, in the Jessica Jones show, they kind of showed that she was stronger by a little bit because she ended up winning the day. But he was also under mind control, so who knows? But I think when it comes down to it, I think she is stronger than Luke Cage.
Yeah, because he can't.
In some respects.
She can simulate flying by jumping. He can't do that.
No. Well, she can fly. She just flies badly.
No, she said that in season 1, that, you know what? It doesn't matter. We'll talk about it during Jessica Jones season, you know what I mean? Or review.
Yeah.
Because that'll be an interesting conversation.
We already did.
Yeah.
We already did. Yeah.
Right, we already did. Yeah, go back to Jessica Jones. This is so weird. We're recording out of sync or out of timelines, and it's so weird.
So those listening, just so you know, just for fun, real quick, those listening, as of this point, because you're listening to Defenders, which puts you at the 5th day of 6 days of Netflix Marvel shows, and then the next day, tomorrow, will be Punisher. We've only recorded Daredevil and Punisher at this point, so we did the first one and the last one, and now we're doing the second to last one.
Right. We're all out of sorts. It's just because we want to have guests on for a lot of them. Yeah.
Which you know that because you heard them all.
That's right.
But yeah, I think, I don't know, I felt like before I watched the show late. Like by the time I watched Defenders, a lot of people already watched. There were reviews up online. I saw tons of things on Twitter about why they make Defenders the Iron Fist show. Nobody likes Iron Fist and all this shit about it being terrible or unwatchable or whatever. Yeah. And ultimately, I watched it and I was like, no, it all kind of it really did tie a lot of stuff together. And
yeah,
it was enjoyable to me. And I actually really liked the Danny Rand character. I think growing up reading Iron Fist, and as I'm sure I talked about in the Iron Fist episode, I enjoyed his take on Iron Fist, and he was less pretentious and douchey than the Iron Fist in the cartoon, which is supposed to be overly douchey to be funny.
Yeah,
but he still had that naiveness, that
naivete.
I would always, which I would think the Danny Rand character would have, because he's a rich white kid that ended up growing up in this Asian culture, all about martial arts and the Iron Fist and
that's
all
supposed
this
to
stuff.
be part of his character building, is the stranger in a strange land.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then he goes home and he has all these different experiences that somebody in his position would never ever have experienced, and so he's out of water. He's a duck out of water, and he doesn't really know where his pond is. Because Kunlun is gone, and now he's in New York, and nobody wants to accept him for who he is, and so he's lost.
And he makes friends with these people who don't want to be his friends.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think honestly, I think that I went into it with an open mind, because I was like, no, I'm not going to let these people talking negative about it affect me. And I think ultimately, not just myself, but I've noticed online, and I'm sure everybody else has too, that the negative voices speak louder than the positive ones.
Always.
So if there's like 5 people who hate it and 100 people who love it, those 5 people are going to be heard more over those other 100, because it's funny to be negative, apparently,
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it overall, the whole thing. And I think it tied together the elements of Daredevil season 2 and the elements of Iron Fist very well. I'm not upset that there was nothing from Jessica Jones or Luke Cage to tie into this, because really those seasons were so good on their own. They didn't have anything that
they're strong. Out of the 4 characters, those 2 have the strongest seasons.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
For complete seasons, because for me, Netflix, Daredevil season 2 with the Punisher is my favorite out of everything so far.
It's fantastic. But it's only 5. I think it's only 5 episodes.
Yeah.
Out of a whole season, 13.
Yeah.
5 or 6, something like that. But yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I liked. One of the things I also enjoyed about it is I enjoyed how. I mean, I knew they were going to do it because they had to do it. It wasn't just those 4 teaming up. It was those 4 plus there was other characters. I think they each had 1 or 2 people from their show in it as well. Like, Daredevil had Foggy and Karen, and Jessica Jones had Hellcat, which she's not Hellcat yet, but she's going to be Hellcat. Patsy Walker, and Luke Cage had Misty Knight.
Who's Hellcat? Who?
Patsy Walker.
Which one? Patsy Walker.
Trish. Her sister, Trish.
Whose
blonde
sister?
Girl, has Jessica Jones.
Oh, the one that
She's
has
Patsy Walker.
Yeah, the one that has like the TV show or whatever, the radio show. That's
she
right.
becomes Hellcat. Well, I don't know if she doesn't. I don't know if she does in Netflix, but in the comics,
Yeah, she becomes
Trish
Hellcat.
or Patsy Walker becomes Hellcat.
Yeah.
So, and then Luke Cage had Misty Knight, who I think Misty Knight was a really cool character in Luke Cage, and in Iron Fist had Colleen Wong, who I thought she was amazing. You know, I liked the fact that her strength of what her character and her motivations carried through to the show, and she's like, no, I'm not gonna. You're not leaving me behind. I'm a fucking warrior. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I liked that about that, you know, and obviously you had the night nurse in there because you can't leave her anywhere because she's awesome. Although she's not Punisher.
Dawson as the night nurse. She's not in the Punisher at all.
No, she's not, and she really should have been.
Yeah,
she was in every other series.
God,
but
not at all. She wasn't in one episode.
No, not in one episode, not at all.
Are you sure?
I'm positive because I was looking for her.
Oh, that's weird.
They even had the opportunity when Frank Castle was all shot up and brought back to the microchips cage. Not cage, hideout to find a way to bring her in. And they didn't. They ended up taking him to Mandali's parents' house. We talked about it on the Punisher episode.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah, she doesn't appear as Claire Temple.
Yeah, which I thought. I mean, it makes sense because they're past the first phase of the Netflix shows, right?
I don't think they ever show him in Hell's Kitchen during that time.
No, he's outside of it.
Well, that's why she's not in it.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, but the fanboy in me is like, you know, she connects all the shows. I want her to connect this one too. But you have Karen Page is in Punisher, which is, you know, it's good enough.
Yeah, Karen Page is in Punisher, but there's a little thing there going on between the Punisher and Karen Page.
And I think Deborah Ann Wool does a great job playing Karen Page.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah, I like her.
Yeah.
I liked her on True Blood, and I like her on this too.
Yeah, she was good in True Blood.
Fun fact, her brother, I think it is, has an eBay account where he sells comic books and merchandise and stuff from her, and she supports it and stuff. And they should do like at one time, a couple years ago, they auctioned off a signed like 10-speed bike by her.
Oh, that's cool.
All the money goes to charity.
Oh, that's nice.
So I have them on I watch them, and I've bought several comics from them because she sells exclusive signed True Blood comics. She's probably doing Daredevil stuff now too, and all the money they raise, they donate it all straight to a charity, which I was like, that's freaking awesome. And you get a little thing in the package that says, you know, you bought this from this account, certify that, you know, it's from Deborah Ann Wool. All your money's going to these charities, stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
Deborah Ann Wool doing the Lord's work.
Right. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. If I find it by the time you post this, I'll put it down in the description below. If not, just search the internet for Deborah Ann Wool eBay account or Brothers eBay or something like that, and you'll probably find it.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I had no idea.
Yeah. That and when I found that on eBay, it kind of made me like her more because I'm like, oh, that's awesome. You're just not making a big deal about it, but you're just helping out. You know, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Something that takes her probably no time at all because her brother's doing it. She just, you know, her brother's doing a lot of the work, and she knows her quote unquote star power will help things sell. You know, it's awesome.
Yeah.
But
so what is something that you hated or didn't care for? Let's put it that way. What is something you didn't care for on the Defenders?
I felt it was too short. I felt it needed about 2 more episodes.
It was 13 episodes, right? They're stuck on that 13.
It was 8 episodes.
Oh, was it only 8 episodes on Defenders?
Yeah.
What's up with
only
that?
8 because I don't know, they did it short. I felt like it needed at least 10.
Because isn't everybody else 13?
Yeah, everything else is 13 episodes, I believe, and Defenders was 8. I felt like Defenders needed at least 2 more episodes to kind of like tie everything together. And one thing I didn't care for too much, okay, I'm kind of over the superheroes teaming up, but none of them want to team up. Gritty, angsty shit, right? Like, there's a big fucking bad guy coming. You all have fucking powers. You know what you have to do. Get over your fucking self and team up and do it. Like,
that's so true.
I'm not gonna. I don't team up. Fuck you. She can fucking almost fly, and she's super strong. He's fucking bulletproof, and he's a fucking ninja with a lighty fist. Get over it.
With a lighty fist. Get over it.
Right? I mean, come on. It's such a trope.
Hilarious.
Like, oh, that no, or one of them's like Iron Fist is like. I mean, they kind of played Iron Fist like a dope, which I didn't quite like because Iron Fist. I've never seen in all the comics I've read. I've never seen Iron Fist as being dumb.
Right.
He's naive to current culture stuff because of what happened to him, but he's not dumb.
Right.
And during the team up portion of Defenders, it kind of felt they played him as an idiot. And I'm like, I don't necessarily like that because he's not dumb. He's naive. There's a difference between stupid and naive.
Well, I felt like I felt like the other three were trying to have him calm down and not want to just rush into things. And he just kept wanting to go, 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 go.
Yeah. And that plays into them playing him as dumb because I would think that he may be naive about current stuff, but he would know that a plan of attack of just rushing in wouldn't work. Wouldn't be good,
Right.
In my opinion.
Right.
But I don't know. I just keep coming back. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, God, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I watched it with Kayla, and I think we watched we finished Iron Fist. We had 2 episodes of Iron Fist to finish. We finished that, and then we started Defenders right away, and we watched the first 4 episodes, staying up until like 3 a.m. watching the first 4. So we finished the whole thing in 2 days. Watched half of it in one night.
Yeah, we've watched all of them. I don't know that she made it through all of Iron Fist, but I did. But we did watch all of Defenders.
I thought it was good. I mean,
there is some plot points though that are kind of jump around where you're like, okay, what's going on? Wait, what just happened on Defenders?
Which one? Which plot points? Can you think of any?
Yeah, you know what? To be honest, it's been like over. What, 2 months?
You just remember there being some stuff that didn't make sense.
Yeah. Because it's been like 2 months since I actually watched the series, and we probably should have watched it before we did this session.
Rewatched it.
Yeah, but it was. I mean,
it's fine.
It's which is the one where? Okay, here's the girl with the samurai sword.
Colleen.
Is it Colleen? Yeah.
Colleen Wing. Yeah. Colleen Wing.
And I don't really understand why her character is there so much.
Because she's with Danny Rand.
Yeah, but
her and Danny are kind of pretty much dating at the end of Iron Fist.
Yeah, it's just weird.
And she's a warrior.
I think I would have killed her in the Defenders.
I love her character.
Yeah, but all the more reason to kill her because I think it would bring more depth to who Danny Rand is, and I just think it's kind of weird that she's just this normal person with a sword fighting against these fighting with these superheroes, and then at the same time fighting like Black Sky and this organization, and I don't know, I just find it kind of odd.
I'm
just saying, okay, for me, I understand what you're saying. You like the character, you want to see her go further and be more involved, and I can commend that. That's because I get that way with certain characters too. I just think her dying would put more emphasis on Danny Rand's character and maybe pull him out of that buffoon type of characteristics that they're having him portray right now, and make it be a little bit more serious.
But if she died, she could never team up with Misty Knight and be Daughters of the Dragon.
Okay,
because her and Misty end up teaming up when Danny in the comics at least when Danny Rand and Luke Cage go off into the hero for hire shit.
Yeah, see, I never read any of the Power Fist, Iron Man, and Power Fist. I never read them. And
they're so good. They're so fun. They're dated.
I have never read one issue. Like
really?
Most of the times I could say, oh yeah, I've read that or I've read a couple of that. But for some reason, Iron Fist, Power Man, and Iron Fist, I just never read because maybe it just wasn't like okay. Because when you go to comic book stores, you know what I mean. They're not going to get every single thing that a publisher puts out because they can't afford it. Because if it doesn't sell, then they're stuck with these books. And they've had to put money out that they're not making money off of. And so maybe the comic book stores that I went to when I was a kid, like the Paperback Exchange, didn't buy those books. I don't remember ever even seeing them. I mean, I think I remember seeing back issues,
Yeah.
But I wanted to see Spider-Man. I wanted to see Wolverine. I didn't want to read something about some guy doing Kung Fu because I just watched Kung Fu on TV. Right. Seriously. And so it's like
I get it.
So I just never read them. I like them more now, and I've read more about those characters on the internet than I have actually experiencing them reading like you did. Because like you're talking about things that is so funny because you're like. Growing up, I read more Marvel and you read more DC, but really,
I still read Marvel.
Yeah, you read a lot of Marvel and you love a lot of Marvel characters, which is hilarious. Well, don't let anybody fool you. He loves Marvel. He loves it. He just doesn't. He just hates he just hated their business practices for a long time.
Right. Well, and as we talked about, I think it was the comics. What got you into comics episode when I talked about getting those box of comics of Marvel books from my dad's friend at work.
Yeah,
that really indoctrinated me into Marvel because I had 500 comic books or all these Bronze Age Marvel books, which is that I read almost all of them. which is how I discovered Daredevil and Iron Fist and Luke Cage and Colin Wing
Marvel's
and Misty
writing
Knight.
is a lot different than DC. It's much more approachable. If you're like a 12, 11-year-old kid, the Marvel stuff is more approachable, and it's, I don't know, it's just, for lack of a better term, it's more fun at that time. I don't know if that's how it is today. You know, it could be, because I read a lot of Batman now, and then I read a lot of Punisher, but then I read a lot of Image stuff like Copperhead. You know, thank you, Scott.
Right, thanks, Scott. Oh, damn, you got the Copperhead. You said the word.
And then
we actually haven't done that in a couple episodes.
Yeah, we haven't, because you start to move on, but. So I've been reading more of that kind of stuff. So I never went back and read Iron Fist or Power Man. So my whole thing of everything is that show.
You should read, and I'll send it to you. Or it's on Comixology, and if you ever get time, it's a long series, but The Immortal Iron Fist. It's from 2009.
I know you remember you're reading it.
It's really good. I mean, I really enjoyed it. It's a different take on Iron Fist than what the original ones were. It plays the Iron Fist more as obviously the Iron Fist is a mantle you can earn, but it plays it as Danny Rand's not the first white Iron Fist.
Oh,
there was a white one before him, and it's really. I'm on volume 2 or 3 of it now. I think I'm halfway through volume 2. I can't remember. It's been a while.
They play on the fact that he's Caucasian
in the show, in the comic. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's good, and even if you go back and read the old Iron Fist, like the old first appearance and the first story arcs.
Yeah.
I still think, they're definitely dated to the 70s as far as what they talk about and how they do things, but they're still, I still enjoy them, Man,
I still like Death Wish. That's from the 70s.
Oh, God, Death Wish.
I don't really like that show. I didn't like it when I saw it, but it's just,
Right. But going back to Colleen, is like you said, it'd be, I do agree that if she would have died, it would have helped propel his character further in the show.
Just for character depth for him as in a show.
But for me, knowing who she becomes and who she is, it's I'm glad they didn't do that.
Because you can't do this.
Right. Because spoiler alert, but Misty Knight is going to get a cybernetic arm in Luke Cage season 2, and then I'm pretty sure eventually her and Colleen are going to team up, because I have a feeling that Iron Fist and Luke Cage are going to become more intertwined together.
They should, because they're like best friends in the comic book.
Right.
That's one thing if you read Marvel comics, because the only time I read about Iron Fist and Power Man is when they did crossovers with books I was already reading. But the one thing they always portrayed is those two are inseparable. They're more like brothers than just friends.
They are. Yeah, they're more than best friends, and which I want to see. I want to see, Luke Cage and Iron Fist and Netflix get to there, and I think they will. And if it was my choice, what I would do is Luke Cage season 2, have it, go forward with it with Misty Knight.
They're Lethal Weapon before Lethal Weapon.
Right.
You know what I mean? They are, dude. If you think about it,
they are,
Iron Fist and Power Man is Lethal Weapon before Lethal Weapon.
That's a good way to put. And it's anyways. What I'm saying is, season 2 of Luke Cage, bring Danny Rand in for some of it. Like have that be the beginning of their friendship, right? The beginning of their blossoming of their friendship, becoming best friends, right? And then Iron Fist season 2, continue that with Luke Cage coming over, and then after season 2 of Iron Fist, season 2 of Luke Cage, make the show connect them and make it Heroes for Hire, and bring it, or Luke Cage or Power Man Iron Fist, give it a name and bring it, and have those two shows combined to be one, to where they're now inseparable. And then what that could also do is that would bring those two together. It would bring Misty Knight and Colleen Wing together more, and you can also have the subplot of those two characters coming together. And then
I would love hire you to be the showrunner and say, "This is the vision, guys. This is what we're doing."
Well, what I'm getting to is I would love to see them have a show on Netflix called Heroes for Hire, and another one called Daughters of the Dragon, and Luke Cage and Iron Fist and Misty Knight and Colleen Wing on the other show, and I just think it'd be awesome. But remember, I'm a DC guy, not a Marvel guy.
Do you think? Yeah, right. Because that's obvious now,
right? My true color. One of us had to pick the other one, man. We couldn't both be Marvel guys and both be DC guys. Wouldn't be fair.
Well, yeah, but I'm clearly
like
not
everything.
just Marvel.
Like everything.
I
know, me too. I like everything. I mean, I like
think
good
your
stories.
DC though comes through when you're talking about Superman.
Yeah.
Because you can't compare Superman to anybody without you being like, no.
Yes, that's how I talk.
Phenomena.
Phenomena.
But
what
do
be
you
cool,
think?
though?
You think they're going to have a Defenders 2?
Oh, yeah.
The
they
second
will.
season? What are they going to fight? They still got to fight Elektra?
I hope not. I hope it's something better. I hope the Elektra storyline, quote unquote, ends in the next season of Daredevil. I think it's been going on for long enough. We don't need to have another Defenders fight Elektra.
Okay, so if you haven't read Daredevil, Frank Miller's run on Daredevil, shame on you. It's one of it's really actually, that's where he gets his chops to do Batman and to do some of the cool stuff that he's done afterwards. But that's really where he cut his teeth, so to speak.
He cut his teeth on probably one of the earliest gritty characters there were.
Yeah. And he did an amazing job.
Always been, Daredevil, even before Frank Miller, was always a little bit more darker than the other heroes around him, even when he first started, strictly because he was a quote unquote blind superhero. So there was a lot more angst into it than,
I only need like 4 more episodes or 5 episodes. I only need like 4 or 5 issues to complete my Frank Miller Daredevil run.
Nice. I was an idiot so I got all those comics from that guy when I was a kid, and I was an idiot, and I sold off my first appearance of Elektra, my first appearance of Bullseye in high school, because I was like, oh, I can get a lot of money for these. So I kept the other ones, and I sold those 2. So I have...
Of course, those are the 2 that I need, and the Death of Elektra.
I have that one. I have all of the Frank Miller one, including the
Death of Elektra for a long time.
Yeah. I have all of that. I have Daredevil issue 2 through 50. I'm just number 1. But the only Daredevils I care about now that I'm keeping, if I have probably, I think I have a 78% complete set of Daredevil Volume 1. Which I know. Why do I know that number? Because I catalog everything.
Yeah, 5 years ago is when you wanted to buy Daredevil number 1.
Right, I know.
Now,
I tried buying it. I actually tried buying a copy back in 2004.
Yeah, you talked about that. Yeah,
it was $500. It was $500 for a copy, and I was like, "Fuck!" But now it's thousands for a shit copy. Anyways,
ever since Netflix, it has gone up like 1,000% since Netflix, literally.
Well, and it had gone up before that too, because for Marvel, which is funny is Daredevil.
It had a bump from the movie from the early 2000s.
It did, but what I'm getting to is Daredevil for Marvel has been the one consistent series for the last like 30 years as far as consistent sales and consistently good storytelling. There's been some issues that were less, but it's been a solid. I mean, it's not he's never been an A-lister in the comics. He's a B-lister, whatever.
Yeah.
But he's always kept his numbers, and he's always told good stories. I mean, Kevin Smith wrote an arc for him. There's a lot of good arcs in Daredevil, and it's just been a consistent background seller. And it's not surprising that his number 1, his early Silver Age stuff, has gone up, because it's over the years he's gotten these series that just keep going. I mean, they introduced Superior Spider-Man in Daredevil.
Yeah, you know what? Oh, that's interesting. You know what's interesting that I find when I was a kid, not everybody read Daredevil. No, but there was a few people that read Daredevil, but the thing is, the difference is like, I love Spider-Man, outgrew Spider-Man. I love the X-Men, outgrew the X-Men. The people that read Daredevil still read Daredevil. They still love Daredevil, and it's kind of funny. It's very similar to people that got really into Batman in the 80s. Yeah. Still read Batman, still love Batman, and it's interesting. It's an interesting dichotomy, because Daredevil is like a B-level character, like you said, but his writing, the people they've had write and draw Daredevil they've always been really good. They've always just been really good storylines.
Yeah, I mean, they relaunched Daredevil back in the early 2000s with Kevin Smith and Joe Quesada on the first story arc, and the first arc was really good. And then after Kevin Smith, Brian Michael Bendis took over and writing it, and it had David Mack did a series of the art on there, which David Mack, if you don't know who he is, he did Kabuki. He does covers for Sandman Overture and lots of Dark Horse covers, and he's a watercolor painter, and his paintings are amazing. I love his work. And Daredevil has always been in a series where people can stretch their legs a little bit with superheroes.
Take chances.
He allows you to take more chances without being, ridiculously crazy, because he is a brawler. He is more of a street level hero, and it's nice.
I think people like him and gravitate towards Daredevil because, he has heightened senses because of the blindness, and then he can, Like I remember reading in one of the Daredevil comics where he goes to pick up the phone. He picks up the phone right before it rings, because he could hear it coming down the line before it's there. And things. But other than that, he gets his ass kicked all the time. He's doesn't have super strength, doesn't have super speed. He's really, at the end of the day, except for the blindness and the height and the heightened sense, but they're not so heightened that they're scary heightened. You know what I mean? They're just heightened sense.
Right, he's basically precog, right? He can kind of see things before they happen or as they're happening.
Yeah,
it's not overdone.
Yeah, but you can like not empathize, but you can feel. What's the word I'm looking for? You can feel like you could be Daredevil in some ways.
Yeah, you
know what I mean.
You just have to get an accident and have some toxic things thrown to your eyes.
But that's what I'm saying, though, dude. Besides shit, but you get what I'm saying, because he gets his ass kicked so much, and he's taken on these characters that are larger than life, and he finds a way. And I think people can relate. That's the word I'm looking for. They can relate to him easier than, say, Wolverine or Colossus or Spider-Man even though Spider-Man has. Huh?
Sorry, you say Wolverine. I legit had a recurring dream for like 7 years as an adult of being Wolverine.
I know, you told us.
I'm not kidding. I would wake up and I'm like, "Shink, I'm Wolverine, motherfuckers!" I'm like, "No, I'm not. Damn it." I told Kay that, and she told me I'm a dork. But yeah, I would have dreams every night about being Wolverine. But no, I agree. Daredevil is relatable for in a lot of ways, and I like it. I like it that way, And going back about 10 minutes to a question you asked about what would I want to have done in season 2 of Defenders, Kingpin.
Yeah, well, I think he's gonna be, because they show him in Defenders in the prison, or am I thinking of something else?
I don't remember. I think so.
Oh no, I think that's Punisher, Netflix. That's Daredevil season 2.
Okay,
with the Punisher in prison, and then Kingpin's in it.
There are two things I want for Kingpin, and I'd be happy with both of them happening, or either of them happening. I want Kingpin to get out of prison, and I want him to be the big bad in Defenders season 2, to where all the Defenders, including Punisher, have to take him on, because Vincent D'Onofrio is so fucking badass as Kingpin.
Yeah, he's great. He did a really good job.
I also want
Tom Holland to be Spider-Man and have him do
I want to do a movie. Just do a Spider-Man movie with Kingpin as the bad guy and bring in Punisher.
Oh my God. Could you imagine? Yeah, that would be perfect. Are you there? Did I lose you? I think I lost you. Can you hear me? Oh, you can hear me, but your computer froze? Lame. Last word that came across was orgasmic. So we lost Johnny. The last word he says is orgasmic. So I guess it really was orgasmic. He liked it so much he passed out. But that would be a really cool movie. Spider-Man, Punisher, fighting Kingpin. And you could actually start it with Spider-Man 129 where the Punisher feels he needs to get Spider-Man.
Okay, we're back. Sorry about that.
I still want to say, are you done coming?
You did. God damn it.
So
I know the last thing I said before my computer froze and stopped was orgasmic, but it's not what I meant.
For everybody listening, what I got was that would be orgasmic and then dead air. For a while. And they were like, where'd you go?
Right. Oh, my computer froze. Luckily, we didn't lose the recording. So I got the recording, but my computer froze hard. You had to
do a hard reset, and luckily that whole first 40 minutes or whatever.
Man, I'm not having good luck with computers right now. I mean, my desktop, I put coffee in, it's not working anymore. I got to replace it. I got the Surface Book now, which I love.
Is that the
Surface
Book
the first
Pro, or is that just Surface Book?
Well, there's not a Pro version of Surface Book. There's just Surface Book and Surface Book 2. No,
there's a Pro version that clamshells just like an actual laptop.
No, that is the Surface Book. What you're thinking of is there's a Surface Pro, there's a Surface Pro, and a Surface Book.
That's what I'm thinking. So you don't have the Pro, you just have the book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a Pro too, but the book is higher up than the Pro.
It's got better. The book is newer. It's got better hardware. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a Pro 3, but I have this was Kaylee's Surface Book, and she gave it to me when my computer crapped out.
High-end stuff. You have 5 kids, no money, but you got I got the newest Surface Book and the Surface Pro. I was like, those came out, man. I was like, I want one of those. Can't afford it.
Well, to be honest, when we sold our house a year and a half ago, we took some of that money and I bought Kaylee a new laptop and I bought myself a 2-year-old Surface Book Pro for $700.
Oh, now it comes out.
So we took some money out of the profits of the house and I bought her a high-powered laptop, which was the Surface Book, and I bought myself a high-powered Surface Pro 3, which was 2 years old at the time. So I spent $700 for a top-of-line Surface Pro 3.
Cool. That's it works out. You didn't buy me one, but whatever.
Thanks for airing my dirty laundry on the podcast about being
you don't
poor.
have to put that in. We can edit it out. It's okay. I was just wondering because I was like, editing. How do you get all this stuff? I don't have nothing. And I think I make a little bit more than you. I don't think I make a lot more, but I think I make a little bit more. And I was like, and I don't have as many mouths to feed. How do you, what? But that makes sense now.
Yeah. So back to what I was saying, having Punisher with Vincent D'Onofrio, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and Jon Bernthal's Punisher in a movie or in a series together would be amazing to me because, like you were saying in the part where you couldn't hear me, just to have the movie start with like that 129 where Kingpin hires the Punisher, or the Jackal hires the Punisher, but you can make it the Kingpin, that's fine, to take out Spider-Man for whatever reason, and then it ends with the two of them kind of teaming up to go back at him It'd be such an awesome movie, especially with those actors in those roles.
Yeah,
it's so great.
And Kingpin is such a manipulator especially in the TV series. And Vincent D'Onofrio is so good at playing that role that he could manipulate, even though Punisher still wants to kill the Kingpin because of what he represents and who he is, he could still twist the idea that there's an issue with Spider-Man to the Punisher. And where he, for 20 minutes in the movie, he's trying to take out Spider-Man in a way. And then maybe he sees him actually do good, and then goes, wait, this isn't the person that I was led to believe. Right.
That'd be a great movie, I think. But they'll probably won't do it, but I would love it. I would love it so much.
The Punisher belongs in Spider-Man to me. That's where he was born. And that's where... some great storylines came out with him being in Spider-Man.
He belongs in something with Spider-Man at some point because it's, his roots, right? He grows past Spider-Man because he becomes a much darker character, but he should definitely have interaction with Spider-Man. I mean, it's funny because if I remember right, Jon Bernthal and Tom Holland did screen tests together, right? Helped each other do screen tests for him to get Punisher and Spider-Man. So the actors are clearly friends, and they're clearly ready, wanting to do it.
Right. But we loved Punisher and Netflix so much, we've snuck him into a Defenders episode, even though he's not in the Defenders.
Right. Exactly.
But he could be in Defenders season 2, and that's how we really got here.
He should be, and he should be.
That would be really neat.
Yeah.
So,
so
we talked about what you didn't like. What is something that you really loved about the Defenders?
I loved it once they got past the whole awkward team up portion. Oh, we're not going to team up. Oh, we are. Oh, we're not. Oh, we are. Once they got past that shit, I think their interactions were really were fun. They were entertaining. I think I liked the interaction between them. I liked the interactions with the secondary characters when they were locked up in the police headquarters stuff to keep them safe. For whatever reason.
And the Chinese restaurant.
The Chinese restaurant. I liked their interactions with each other. I thought the fight scenes were pretty cool. I wish there was a little more to some of the fight scenes, but I thought overall they did a good job of balancing their power sets in the fight scenes, and keeping. I mean, I don't really care too much. I'm going to rephrase that. I didn't like the South American hand member, but that's good because you're not supposed to like the bad guy, and that guy did a really good job of being a really giant pretentious asshole that I wanted.
He comes across. He's actually in Iron Fist. That's where you first see him, and he is portrayed as what's her name?
Sensei Colin.
Colin and he's he's portrayed as a good guy at first, and they do a pretty good.
Right,
but you kind of know. I mean, you're like something doesn't smell right in Denmark. Yeah, right. And you kind of know, and then it but the guy that plays him does a really good job of making you not like him.
Yeah, hold on. I'm like, just cut his fucking head off, please.
I like that you didn't realize that he's. I don't know. I didn't realize when I was watching Iron Fist that he was actually part of the Hand.
Yeah, until they revealed it, right?
And then to have him be part of the hierarchy of the Hand more so, because in Daredevil you don't really know who is leaders of the Hand. You just know it's this kind of this foreboding force of people that are manipulating strings in the background, and then have these foot soldiers, so to speak. Funny note, the foot in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a direct thing from the hand. That's them making fun of the hand for that whole thing.
Well, and they actually released, Kevin Eastman and Peter Lillard actually released that the toxin or the ooze that creates the turtle is the same toxin that creates Daredevil.
Which I kind of like it. Now I think they've gotten rid of that, right?
I don't know, but last I heard it was part of canon that when Daredevil stopped that truck and the ooze went into the sewers, that was the same stuff that made the turtles.
Yeah, which I kind of like that. I thought that was a cool thing that they did.
It's a cool nod. I mean, they were big Daredevil fans. It's a cool nod to the character.
But what I was saying is, I like that when you see in Defenders that you kind of start to see, the hierarchy and the people actually pulling the strings in Defenders. But you still kind of get the sense that there could be still a higher level.
Yeah, you would think there'd have to be, because for them to be that multinational, those 5 they showed in Defenders don't seem like they had the wherewithal to be what they were. I mean, if anything, the Japanese one who only spoke Japanese, he seemed like he should have been the leader of the group, because he was the most, quote unquote. I say that because he was the most merciless of all of them. He was the voice of, let's just get this done, just not fuck around in what he did. But he also kind of bowed down to Sigourney Weaver's character a lot too, which I
think Sigourney was more powerful, but she seemed to have more of a plan than anybody else. Like, she had an agenda. Yeah. She actually had an agenda, and I don't think everybody else really had an agenda more than just, let's just grab as much power as we possibly can. And
right. Well, their whole agenda was to get back to Kunlun.
Yeah.
Right. They wanted to go back to Kunlun.
Take over.
And take over Kunlun. Right. Yeah. Which I do kind of wish that they would have, because I'm sure we talked about in yesterday's Iron Fist episode, they didn't show Kunlun barely at all. They showed like some caverns. But you didn't see any of Kunlun at all. So I was hoping one of the payoffs with Defenders would be, since it's all based around Elektra, the Hand, and Iron Fist, that we would get to see some of Kunlun, but we didn't, and it's kind of.
I kind of like that, because it becomes more of an idea, and I kind of like that aspect of it of keeping it a mystery. And being that, you have to get to a certain Zen type level, almost like Shangri-La. You can go searching for Shangri-La, but you'll never find it. And Kunlun comes to you, and that I kind of like that. And I don't know if they kind of just made a physical place that you can just travel to anytime you want, it kind of ruins the mystique of it.
Well, no, not anytime you want, but like when they could have shown some of the stuff they show with Danny and his,
like in the flashbacks,
just standing outside guarding. Yeah, they could have shown him training on a set or something that was in Kunlun, because it only shows up every 10 years or whatever. But they didn't. They kept it all very vague and very, very mysterious. Which, it plays well into the storyline. Just personally being an Iron Fist fan, I kind of want to see it.
So if someone's coming and saying, "Hey, I'm going to watch the Netflix series," what do I start with? Because now when you go there, there's a lot. You know what I mean? There's not. Yeah,
there's a lot. There's six seasons of shows to watch.
And let's just take. There's 5 seasons at 13 apiece, so that's 65 episodes, and then you have the 8, so that's 73 episodes. That's that's some commitment.
That's 73 hours of entertainment to watch.
Yeah, that's a commitment. And so. For us, we've watched them as they come out. But if somebody was coming to you that is, let's take 2 different types of people. Ones that don't know anything about comic books, right? And that you think that they'll probably like it for the drama, for the action, and for whatever. And then the other one is somebody who is a huge comic book fan that may be very, what's the word I'm looking for? Not argumentative, but very pessimistic about what they're about ready to watch. So what's your tact of explaining this to somebody who has never read a comic book?
I would say that if you don't care about the characters' backstories of how they became who they are, and you want to go into it, and the whole goal is to watch Defenders, right? The goal is to watch and understand Defenders.
Like in order of, you said, watch them and you could say, just watch them in the order they came out. Or you can say, no, watch them in this order.
Well, I would say this: if you don't care so much about seeing how each character gets their powers and becomes who they are, and your goal is to watch Defenders, and you want to just watch Defenders, see them team up, and understand that storyline, then all you have to watch is season 2 of Daredevil and Iron Fist.
Yeah.
That's it. Because nothing else matters to Defenders unless you want the character backstory. Now, if you want to go into Defenders understanding who these characters are and what their motivations are and why they're there and why they're acting the way they act, then you've got to watch all of them. Now, you don't have to watch all of Luke Cage. You don't have to watch all of Iron Fist. You could watch, say, the first 4, the middle episodes, and then like the ending, because there's a lot of fluff in those 2 seasons. Like, there's a lot of stuff you could cut out and not miss anything in those shows. I would say you'd have to watch all of Jessica Jones, because I think every episode is important to her character. If you want her,
and Jessica
her
Jones is a different.
I would say,
I don't know. She's her whole series feels different than everybody else's.
It is. It's very different. But I would say for Daredevil, you'd have to watch both seasons, because the first season really sets him up, but the second season really narrows down who he is and why he would be in Defenders helping out. And half the season is a whole precursor plot to Defenders.
Yeah.
One of the things that that question actually brought up something else I wanted to say real quick, and it's not going to be real quick because it's me talking. So, one of the things I loved about the first couple episodes of Defenders I thought was done really well is you notice without noticing that each show has a color scheme. Daredevil is red, Jessica Jones is blue, Luke Cage is yellow, and Iron Fist is green. That's their color scheme of the show. You go back and watch those shows, you'll notice that a lot of the lighting in Jessica Jones is lit with blue. A lot of the stuff in Daredevil is lit with red, and same with Luke Cage and Iron Fist. Those shows are backlit with those 4 colors. And when you watch the first couple episodes of Defenders, you'll notice that when they go to a Daredevil-centric scene, when Matt Murdock's talking with Foggy or with Karen Page, the lighting or the lights in the background are red. Similar to Jessica Jones, it's very blue lit, and Iron Fist is very green lit, and Luke Cage is very yellow lit. So in Defenders, just even within those episodes, they keep those scenes before they come together tonality lit like their individual shows were. Something that I didn't even notice until I watched Defenders. Like, oh, every scene with Jessica is blue, and every scene with Matt is red, and Luke is yellow, and Danny is green. And I went back and I watched some stuff in those episodes. I'm like, oh, their original shows follow the same scheme where they set your tone by color. So you see red, you think Daredevil. You see blue, you think Jessica Jones. They train you to think of these characters with these colors in this context.
That's getting deep right there. That's cool.
Yeah. So if you watch it again, you'll notice that, there's a lot of red in Daredevil, and it makes sense. There should be red in Daredevil because he's a red character, but they tone it that way, and it crosses over into the show. I think whoever had the idea to spend those first episodes, bring those characters together by using those color tones was a genius, because it was beautifully done.
That is genius. That's awesome. So, what about the pessimistic comic book geek? How do you? And for some reason, they haven't watched these yet, because they're like, I don't. They're gonna ruin my comics if I watch these.
Honestly, my opinion is go fuck yourself and get over it. Watch it if you want to watch it. Don't if you don't. I have no time. I have no time in my life for people who are like that, man. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. But they're out there, you know what I mean? And a lot of times those people are not bad people by any stretch. They just have a real big...
They're not.
Let's put it this way. Maybe I shouldn't say pessimistic. Maybe somebody who just has a lot of passion for the comic books, that understands those characters because they've read the backstories, right? And out of all the ones that they showed, Jessica Jones is the newest in comic book lore. And she wasn't like a massively popular character until Netflix.
Well, she's became way more popular after Netflix, but she was a popular secondary character for a little while, because from the collector standpoint, her first appearance and her first issue was always worth money.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but all first appearances almost always go up and are worth money. And you said it right there. She's always been a secondary character. She has some popular, but you didn't see anybody cosplaying as her. You do now. I'm just saying Netflix has
Netflix
exploded her into
helped
the stratosphere with people knowing who she is. Right? Now non-comic book people know who she is. You know what I mean? Like if you just read DC or you just read Image, you still wouldn't know who Jessica Jones was unless you were a Marvel person.
No. Exactly. To go back to your question, my honest answer would be is is, you know what, if you're too holden to the comics, you're too holden to the old style or her quote unquote actual origin or any of the characters' actual comic book setups, then you probably shouldn't ever watch a movie or a TV show based on a comic book character anyways, because they're going to change things, because you have to modify things when you change the medium of what you're playing in. What worked in a comic book is not going to work in a TV show and not going to work in a movie, translating it word for word. You have to adapt. And within those adaptations, you get good and you get bad.
Yeah, think of it as an out-of-timeline story.
Yeah. You just have to accept it for what it is and be, okay, this is going to be the character that I love told in a different light. And you just go into it that way. You can't be all like, well, she didn't do that in the comic books, or Daredevil didn't do that in the comic books, or, oh, Luke Cage, he wore a tiara in the comic books. You know, yeah, okay, he did. That was the 70s. It's not going to wear a tiara anymore, you know. They homaged to it and they moved on.
I guess it was a tiara.
You have to move on
but
with
it looked
things.
cool in the comic books because it was more of a, I mean, it's a headband. Tiaras are for girls.
It's a tiara. It's a freaking tiara, man. Come on. Let's say what it is. Let's just call a spade
so
here, man. It's a tiara. But he, you know, those people, and I love comic book people. I love talking comics, but people who are so beholden upon everything has to be what it was, and you can't you can't change anything ever. You get over yourself and accept the fact that there has to be change.
I think you nailed it when you said it's a different medium.
There has to be change.
It's the same thing when I listen to anybody who's read a book and then they make the movie and the first thing out of their mouth is the book is better. Well, no shit. You know, because you're using your imagination to come up with everything inside from the descriptive words. But you're going to take a 500-page book, and you have to realize that every page on a script is about a minute, and so a 90-page script is 90 minutes, and now
So 500 pages to be 500 minutes.
That's not even that, because now you have to transfer it to a script where you're describing every single little scene and then creating all the different dialogue that's happening between. And then if you have a book that's doing a lot of narration, well, how do you describe that in the movie on top of that? There's a lot that goes into it. You can't just, it's not like you just give the book and say, okay, we'll just do page for page and read off the thing and shoot the movie.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. And it's impossible.
You know, a Russian studio did that with War and Peace, and it was like 16 hours long.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. You know, it's like
that.
Harry Potter. I heard so many people complain about Harry Potter movies that loved the book, and it's just like, well, they changed too much. Well, you know what? They have to. It's a different medium. You're talking about a 400-page book in the span of 2 hours. You got some things you got to let go, and it's okay. Just enjoy it for what it is. And then if you don't like it because you don't like the movie, then hey, you know what? That's fine.
That's fine.
You know,
that's fine.
But to go into this whole thing, you're getting I can get passionate about things too. I love a lot of stuff. You know, and I love
too.
Like I have a huge problem with some of the X-Men movies, not because I still like the X-Men movies. Like I even like,
except for Apocalypse.
I even
like
that one, man. I mean, it's fun.
Oh, I couldn't finish it, man. I got 45 minutes in, I couldn't get past it.
He looks like he should be in the Apocalypse looks like he should be in a Power Rangers TV show. You know?
Yeah,
that's the only part that I didn't like. But I did like the ending. I did like how everything came together and how the Phoenix came out of Jean Grey and did all that kind of stuff. And I did like the fact that in the movie Quicksilver is searching for Magneto because he finds out that's his dad, and then they have this whole thing where Magneto's helping, and Quicksilver doesn't tell him that he's his dad, that I'm your son and everything. But there's that moment where things start to become realized, and I thought that was cool, man. I thought they did a good job, but it's just the way the worst part about that movie is the way Apocalypse actually looks. Other than that, it's
I couldn't get past that.
Yeah, and people.
It's just so bad to me.
Right. And the people's reaction when they sent it should have been a big, like, hey, red flag.
Red flag.
Right. And it's like, did you guys not do any kind of...
Did you not look at a comic book?
Yeah. It was just kind of weird. But other than that, I enjoyed it. But my point is this. I've enjoyed all the X-Men movies. Do I get passionate when I read it and say, that's not what happened? That's not how that is? I can look at Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, who ended up being one of the a great, rendition of what the Wolverine character is in movie form, but does not look anything like actually Wolverine.
No, he's way too tall.
And not freaking stout.
but it's okay because it's a different universe. And like
movie.
you touched on something a minute ago, you said, and I just wanted to expand it real quick. You talked about, oh, it's not as good as the book, or the book is better or whatever. And what I found is for most people, whatever medium they absorb a story in first, that's their preferred version of that story.
Totally.
Right? Like my biggest example of that is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Right? People who heard the radio play first over the book will tell you the radio play is better than the book. People who read the book first will tell you the book's better than the radio play and better than the TV series. Some people who watch the TV series first will tell you, oh, that's a really good one. I like that one more. The book's okay. The book's kind of explains more. Though it always depends on what you experience something as first. Usually becomes your favorite version of that story.
That's totally true.
And that's totally okay. But don't shit on everything else around you.
Right. Okay, so basically, you're going to say, look. If you're passionate about your comics and that's okay.
That's okay to be passionate.
But just think of these as more, because I kind of think of them as out of timeline. Right.
Yeah, they're not canon. They're
canon
to
for
themselves.
the MCU.
Nobody considers the Daredevil Netflix show to be canon with the Daredevil comic books, and that's fine. They shouldn't be. That's great. We're kind of totally off on a tangent here, and that's wonderful. That's what we do. Our show should be called the Tangent Show.
Right.
I bet apparently, but.
Well, it stems from my question to you about.
It does. But I think, honestly, a lot of people need to, and I say get over, and I don't mean that rudely. I mean, people need to get over their preconceived notions of things and enjoy movies and TV shows and books and radio plays and whatever they're consuming, comic books. Enjoy them for what they are.
Go back to our Justice League review, and I go on a whole rant about enjoying and your characters that you've read, grew up reading and loving are on the screen in a way you never thought possible.
Yeah. And it's like I can sit here and I could tear apart BVS. I can tear apart Justice League. I can tear apart Avengers. I could tear them apart and tell you why those are bad movies or why I think these movies had so much more potential than they did. But ultimately it comes down to, did I enjoy it? Did I have fun while watching it? Well, the answer was yes. Then why? Why would I want to waste so much of my energy being super negative? Well,
let me put it this way. Would you rather never have a Superman movie, or would you rather have what you have today?
I would rather have BVS, which I will sit here and tell you that I after watching it multiple times, I do enjoy that movie. I think it could be a ton better, but I do enjoy it. But I would rather have BVS than nothing.
That's exactly right, man. Because it still looks amazing,
I'd rather have shitty X-Men movies than have no X-Men movies, because I still love the X-Men.
I love Days of Future Past. Did you watch that one?
Days of Future Past, it's amazing. My favorite X-Men movies are X-Men 2, Days of Future Past, and First Class.
First Class was pretty fun. There's some things I didn't like. Like, I didn't like in actually, you know what? Let's save that and do an X-Men movie episode.
Yeah, I was going to say we should.
There's some things in some of those movies that really don't get to me because of what's in the comic book compared to the movie. It's the story writing in the movie itself.
Oh, we can do 2 episodes. We should do both trilogy. We should do the original trilogy and then the First Class trilogy. 2 episodes. Done. All right. So we're rambling on a lot here. Final thoughts on Defenders. What would you say?
I enjoyed Defenders. I like the characters that they've developed through the TV shows, and I think that's what makes that show, even though there's some plot points and there's some writing that's a little weak, but I think overall it's really fun, and I think all the stuff that builds up to Defenders helps it be a better show. I think I expected a little bit more out of the. I think I expected a little bit more out of it, and being only 8 episodes is shocking.
Yeah,
you had all this build up, and then you do 8 episodes.
I think it was. I agree. I think it was a good series. I think standalone without watching stuff before, it makes no sense. But being as we're nerds, we've watched everything up to it. I think it was a really good culmination. I do honestly believe it should have been at least 2 more episodes in length. I would have loved some more exploring Danny and Luke. I would love some more some more interaction between Matt and Jessica.
Yeah.
I thought that would have been good. I think those two need to be teamed up, not teamed up, but teamed up, but those two need to interact more, because I think they're both flawed characters, and I think they both have a lot of similarities in their characters themselves for very, very different background reasons. And I'd be very interested to see how they would play. Like, let's say there's a storyline or something where Matt and Jessica are, Daredevil and Jessica have to team up to solve something, and using her PI skills and his skills, and they both fight very differently. I think it'd be a very fun interaction to watch those two, and I wish we would have gotten a little bit more of that. I wish they would have done a little bit more of a 2-on-2 team up to explore some interaction between those characters. I think they had an opportunity and they didn't take it for whatever reason. But ultimately, I think I really enjoyed it. I mean, I watched all the way through the end. I power watched all 8 episodes, and I enjoyed it from start to finish. And I left it. I didn't leave it going, oh, I wish it was more. I left it going, I can't wait for the next one to come out.
Yeah, that's fair. I can't wait for the next one to come out. Here was my issue with Jessica Jones in The Defenders. Because I know I explained some of it, but for some reason, it just came to me from when you were talking about it.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
When she's fighting, her strength is so much more than everybody else's. When she hits one of the hand, they should just go flying and be done. Right?
They should. They should.
Almost anybody she's fighting on that, and it doesn't even matter if it's Nobu or Sigourney Weaver. When she hits them, they should almost be like, "Oh shit, I want to avoid her."
Yeah, she can punch through a fucking wall.
Not just a wall. She can punch through a steel wall. She could punch through, solid concrete. It's not. Yeah. It's not like a freaking sheetrock and 2x4s. That's nothing. Right. So that's what really bugged me, because when she was fighting, if you go back and watch it, she's getting beat up, and it's just like, how is she getting beat up? Unless
there was some explanation of why she was depowered for some reason, which there wasn't. She should not be getting beat up that bad.
She doesn't have this invulnerability, so she gets hit. It hurts. I get it.
Well, she's almost invulnerable. Yeah. She has moments of invulnerability where when in peak fighting form she becomes invulnerable. Which, like, in times I can't remember how they explained it, but Jessica Jones becomes invulnerable when it's really important or something like that. I don't know.
When she gets focused enough. Let's put it that way. But I'm just
right. But her fighting should be a lot more intense. She should have been punching. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, and that's what I think when I was watching the show. That's what really bugged me. It's like, why is she getting her ass beat, and why isn't if I'm getting attacked and I have a choice between one of those defenders to defend me, I'm gonna choose her because she, to me, is probably the most powerful one out of all of them.
Either her or Luke Cage. I mean, Luke Cage is freaking bulletproof, so one of the two is going to be her. I mean, probably her because she's strong. I think she's going to be stronger.
Right,
and
they're portraying her like, and that's what I think bugged me. They portrayed her as the weak girl in the group, and she should have been the strongest one. You know what I mean? And that's what bugged me, dude. And I thought they took a step back with that.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I can see that.
So there you go. Okay, well, I think that's a show.
That's a show, man. I think we're good. We got like an hour and a half here.
Yeah, I mean, we got some tangents on there. Overall, Defenders, 2 thumbs up. Can't wait for season 2.
Way up.
And, I mean, obviously, we're always going to try to find some things that we thought could have been better, but we're armchair quarterbacks, right? We're not writing these things. We're not directing these things.
Although someday we might.
But those guys that are doing it are doing an amazing job. They know what they're doing, and there's a reason that they're in the business that they're in, and there's a reason that we're sitting here talking about it. So kudos to you guys.
Exactly.
I can't wait to see what comes out after this.
All right. So you can listen to us on TuneIn, SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, Libsyn, Podbeam. Yep, we're on Libsyn now. Anywhere podcasts go that your podcaster can pick up an RSS feed, we're going to be there. Just search for Spoiler Country. You'll find our pretty faces there and listen to our awesome show. So you want to listen to us? I mean, obviously listen to us now, but you want to tell your friends about us. You want to rate us on iTunes. Give us a 5-star rating, because the more ratings we get, the more our show will show up in search results. Us out.
Matter of fact, any medium that you actually listen to us, please put a review down.
Review, comment, leave a comment somewhere. I don't care. Comment on Libsyn, on
come visit
whatever.
our webpage at spoilercountrypod.com. Visit us on Facebook at Facebook.com/Spoiler Country.
We're on Twitter. We're on Twitter at spoiler_country. We're most active there. I'm on that every day.
We're on Instagram. We're we have our own Libsyn page as well, which is spoilercountry.libsyn.com. You come see us there. Hear all our old episodes, all our new episodes. Come check us out, man. Don't be scared.
And we've set a soft goal for ourselves, and I think we're going to do it. But we've set a soft goal for ourselves to, by the time we go to San Diego this year, which is in July, to be at 100 episodes. So we're at 100 quality episodes.
And we're inching closer. And if you've been paying attention, or if you've listened to our last couple episodes, you'll know that episode 100 says guaranteed to come on.
All right, man, we're out.
Okay, just remember, guys, expand your mind and read more.
Later.